Hi there, welcome back. Thanks for being here. A week ago, I published a video where I shared a couple family dinners that I hosted just with the kids. So I wouldn't say that these were parties, they were simply family dinner. I strongly encourage you to check those videos out. They will be linked in the description box below. You can also click the box up in the corner and get to that video here. That video inspired me to talk a little bit about how I developed a love for cooking and baking and how I got to be so good at it. I talk about how much I love to cook and bake and how I find it as a way to recharge or to unwind from the everyday life, from running two businesses, from being a hands-on grandma to being a hands-on wife and a hands-on mother. I wear many hats and I put a lot of effort into all those areas. Well, we all need to unwind at times. You need to unwind, I need to unwind. And how we unwind is going to look very different from person to person. Some people unwind by scrolling social media. Others unwind by watching shows on Netflix, or is it Hulu? Something like Hulu? I don't know what it is. Some unwind by reading. Scrapbooking used to be a big thing. It could be doing different puzzles or different games. Whatever it is that you do to unwind, you want to tap into that because that is how we recharge. I actually recharge and unwind by cooking and baking. Well, guess who reaps that reward? My loved ones, my family members. But how did I learn to love cooking and be good at it and be good at baking? Well, I'll share with you. I had a working mom. In fact, my mom was the breadwinner at times in my upbringing. But my mom worked a full-time job. And she didn't get home from work until the afternoon. And often my sister and I would get home prior to my mom getting home from work. So we would have to start dinner. Well, believe it or not, that's how I learned. I learned very hands-on how to cook and how to bake. Now, my mom did bake with us. I remember as a child, we would bake. I remember going to my grandma's and we would bake there and cook there. So the hands-on experience was really how I learned. And there was a lot of trial and error because my sister and I would get home from school and there'd be a list out of what we needed to do to start dinner. Well, there was no one there to troubleshoot. We had to figure it out, right? So it was a great way to learn. It's kind of like learning the hard way and making some errors and finding the opportunity and making things work. Looking at my children today, if you follow me closely, you know that my girls also, some of them, are great cooks and bakes as well. Well, how did that happen? Well, I'll share with you how that happened. The same way it did for me. My girls always had a chore list, which you're very familiar with. I talk about it all the time. I have a video where I share the chore list, and I share it all the time on stories. And that chore list has changed over the years. It used to be physical, and then it went digital, and I would print it out, and the kids would come home, and their chore list would be there. Well, on that chore list would be different chores to do to contribute to making the family dinner or preparing for the next day. So if I always knew ahead of time what we were going to make for the next day. So if vegetables needed to be prepped for tomorrow's dinner, that would be on their list. It takes a village with a large family. Well, in that is how they found out and learned how to do things, right? It was the hands-on experience. A lot of children leave the home as young adults and they don't know how to do these things because they were deprived. They were deprived of learning how to do it. If you want your children to learn how to cook and bake, you've got to pass that baton to them. And it's great to be there to help them, but if you're a working mom and you can't, leave the list out and have them get dinner started. They can prepare the ground beef. They can make many things at a very, very young age. Moms just have to stop doing it for them. So how did my kids learn to cook and bake and be extremely great at it? is they weren't cooking from a package or a box. They literally had a recipe that they had to follow. And that's how they learned. Now, I'll share with you what's interesting though. My first daughter, Kirsten, and my third daughter, McKenna, I would say are the most experienced at cooking and baking. Well, one of the reasons is they've had more opportunities to do so. My second daughter, who lives in New York City, she was the only one who truly left the home pretty much right out of high school. She left and went away to college. So she didn't have a chore list every day to have her help out in the kitchen and do things to prepare for dinner because she was gone. So she wouldn't have gotten that experience. From there, after college, she moved to New York City and she's by herself. So she's not at our family dinners like what I shared in last week's video. She's not at the family dinners. She's only home for the big things, right? And she's coming home as a guest. She doesn't have a home here with a kitchen here to prepare and make dishes to pass or desserts to contribute to the family dinner like Kirsten and McKenna do. So it would make complete sense she wouldn't have the experience that they have because she doesn't have the opportunity to get the experience. Are you hearing what I'm saying? It's all about experience, hands-on experience. Now, when she comes home, I do try to give her some things to do. In fact, last Christmas, I put her to work with my mom to make this Christmas tree shaped bread appetizer that had like, I think art or spinach in it and cheese, and it was really good, but you actually had to make it into the shape of a Christmas tree. This really tested her because she doesn't have the experience, and it makes sense that she wouldn't, right? She's not here to contribute. A lot of family dinners and all get-togethers and gatherings, my first daughter and my third daughter, they make a dish to pass. Now, my fourth daughter, she lives on her own, so she's only cooking for herself, but she knows how to cook as well. And often when we're hosting, let's say, a big gathering with outside people above and beyond just the kids, I will have her prepare a dish, and often I will give her a recipe of something to make. So she really has to put some thought into it. That's how they learn. It's experience, and this is in every area of life. If you want your kids to know how to do things, you have to give them the opportunity to learn it. Don't do everything for them. They will be so thankful later on in life. They may grumble while you're raising them. They'll get over it, and you don't have to tolerate the grumbling. There can be consequences for that. But it's such a great opportunity. My fourth daughter, Carly, and I were having a conversation shortly after I filmed the family dinner video. And there was an incident where we had family dinner and something got spilled on the floor. I think McKenna was shaking up salad dressing, and she was doing it in a blender bottle, and the top part wasn't snapped closed, and so she shook like that, and sure enough, salad dressing went out on the hardwood floor. Well, she grabbed some cleaner under the kitchen sink, and it happened to be glass cleaner. And after she sprayed it, I went, "No, you can't use glass cleaner. Everyone's going to be wiping out." Well, she didn't know that. She was like, "Oh, you can't?" I said, "It will make your floor so slippery. You can use a multi-purpose, but not a glass cleaner." Well, what was funny is my fourth daughter, Carly, said, "I didn't know that either." Well, yeah, it makes sense. You don't know what you don't know. Well, needless to say, I completely scrubbed the floor because the last thing I wanted was someone to fall, especially June bug. I didn't want anyone getting hurt. My mom was here. So now you know. Well, this prompted a conversation between Carly and me, and she had shared with me that, you know, Mom, when I think of people that I know that are my age that I interact with, they don't know even near the things that I do. And she said, "I just learned everything because of my chore list." She said, having that chore list and having to do household things is how I learned. When I left home, I knew how to do laundry. A lot of my friends don't really know how to do laundry because they never had to do it. And that doesn't mean that their parents didn't have good intent. It's just easier sometimes for mom to do it. So a lot of messages going on in today's video. Sharing the art of learning how to cook and bake and where that comes from. Yeah, you can be self-taught, and that's really what it is. If you're left a list, you are kind of self-taught, but you have to have opportunities to do it. And how important, the real strong message is how important it is to give your kids the opportunity to do some of these hands-on things, because they're going to adult well. They just are going to adult well. And to see young adults that are not even in their 30s yet that prepare amazing dishes, just amazing dishes right from scratch. It's amazing. I mean, my girls have made pasta dishes where they've made the pasta. They've made the actual pasta from scratch. It's just amazing. And the desserts, just incredible. Incredible. What a gift. So that gift was given to me, and then I passed that gift on to my girls. And it's just a wonderful gift. So yeah. So don't miss out. Don't miss out on doing that. Yeah, don't. But please check out last week's video, the family dinners. If you haven't, make sure you resource the description box below, because I share a lot of videos in there that kind of spearhead, and a lot of items that I use for entertaining and family dinners. Don't forget to check out my recent Christmas gift guides. There's more to come with that. I have a couple more that are going to be coming maybe next week. We're almost to Thanksgiving, so it's a perfect time to be talking about these things. Enlist your kids. Why are you the only one making a dish to pass? If you have adult children, how great would it be for one of them to maybe make the green bean casserole, or maybe a salad, or have them make a dessert? I think it'd be a wonderful opportunity, so tap in. Don't miss the boat on that. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening, and be sure to check that video out, and I'll see you next week on YouTube. Take care.